Welcome to Courageous Parenting Summit, transforming challenges into opportunities. I'm Edith Wallach. I'm a transformational leadership coach, Amazon best-selling book author, and a mother, most importantly, a mother of three beautiful, clever children. And we are here. Welcome Catherine Clinton as our amazing speaker for today. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this because I too, that's my most important title is Mother of Three. So, wow.
Yes. Fabulous. So we are committed to empowering parents and children by building connection with love. And here's my co-host, Filza Jabin. So go ahead, introduce.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Filza Jabin. I'm mother of three beautiful children, teen and parents transformational leadership coach. And today we have here with us Catherine Clinton. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk with you both today.
Yes, let me introduce you all to Catherine Clinton. Dr. Catherine Clinton is a licensed neuropathic physician, has spent over 17 years helping people overcome their health issues, diagnosed with two autoimmune conditions and Lyme disease. While in medical school, she began the long and difficult journey of healing, a path that led to the commitment to help others to not only heal physically, but to return to the relationships we evolved over millennia with for a deeper sense of health and belonging. Her mission is to empower as many people as she can with knowledge of quantum biology for health and help them explore new perspective in healing. And today she is going to talk about quantum parenting, learn how quantum biology can help support children's health. So Catherine, well, this particular topic is new to me, and I'm sure it's new to many viewers. So can you explain us about this?
Absolutely. Quantum biology is a new emerging field that looks at quantum phenomenon in our bodies. And basically, what it's doing is it's looking at the smallest pieces of our biology, our mitochondria, our DNA, our proteins and enzymes, and looking at the flow of electrons, protons, photons of light, how these really small pieces interact, influence each other, and give rise to what we would see with a symptom or a state in the body. And, when I was in naturopathic medical school, what I was taught and is still being taught around the globe is that health is really a product of this chemical mechanical model where we have biological keys randomly bumping around a cell until they find the receptor, unlock the receptor, and action happens. Now, we know that part is true, that interaction between a biological key and a receptor, but it's the randomness that we're calling into question and that quantum biology answers so beautifully. We have trillions and trillions of cells in the body, and each one of these cells is completing hundreds and thousands of tasks each second. It's just mathematically impossible with this random collision model. And that's where quantum biology comes in, and it talks about resonance, it talks about frequency, it talks about much faster, more elegant ways of communicating in the body. And I think when we talk about quantum parenting, really we're focusing on light, we're focusing on water, we're focusing on these ideas of heart coherence and co-regulation. And so it's a fascinating emerging field that I love to talk about everywhere with my patients on summits like this. So thank you for having me on.
Can you explain a little bit more about quantum parenting? Like, what does this term mean? Like, can you simplify it for us?
Yeah, absolutely. It's looking at, when we say frequency, frequency gets, that word is thrown around so much and it's hard to understand what is she talking about frequency. Really, I'm talking about wave information, right? So a particle of light travels as a wave. Um, so many different things, sound, electromagnetic frequency. And when we're talking about quantum parenting, we're talking about how does the light environment affect our children? How does water and different states of water impact our child? How does our state of heart coherence? Heart Math Institute has done incredible research on the ability of our emotions to cause a certain magnetic resonance in the heart. And that entrains our neurological function. So when we're in a state of heart coherence, when we're feeling a state of gratitude, a state of awe, a state of joy, a state of contentment or peace, we are directly communicating with our frontal lobe. So we're able to make calm, rational decisions. We're not innervating our amygdalas and making those instinctual, fear-based reactions. And quantum parenting looks at how these things impact our children's health. And it's really incredible. For example, light. We often just think light is light, right? I'm sitting here talking with you and I've got a bright light in front of me so you guys can see my face. It's not something that we often think of being really important for our children's health. But when we look at the research around how light is impacting our children, it's incredible. Light is a guiding force in our biology. It was 2017 that 3 researchers were given the Nobel Prize for their work on chronobiology, basically how light impacts our biology. And our body, our children's body, is circadian driven. So when we have our children aligned with the rhythm of the sun, their biology is really finely tuned to an optimal state. When we go against that, things can happen that create a state of imbalance in the body. For example, when we are living in a circadian rhythm in the sun, when we go out in the morning and get that morning light in our eyes, anytime within a few hours of that sunrise, if a child is going to go outside and just be outside for 5, 10, 15 minutes, it sets off all these biological cascades in the body. It regulates their hormones, it regulates their neurotransmitters so they feel focused and motivated and calm. It regulates their cortisol, their metabolism. And we're sort of in an epidemic right now of chronic disease in our children, in obesity, in metabolic issues, in inability to focus, and to think that 10 minutes outside in the morning can have an enormous impact on all those different things, because what happens is the light enters our eye, and the eyeball, on the back of the eyeball, there's a thin layer of cells called the retina. And these cells have something in them called melanopsin. And melanopsin is a protein that is sensitive to light. It's sensing the light in our environment. And when that retina sees that spectrum of morning light, which is rich in red, infrared, blue light, ultraviolet lights coming onto the scene, even in the winter time, right? It doesn't have to be tropical, beautiful sun. But when that light enters the eye, and I should say, people always ask, do we need to look at the sun? No, absolutely not. I just mean when that ambient light in the morning comes in to the eye, it hits those cells in the back of the eye and the retina, and that signal is sent to the center of our brain, to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, big name for our master clock, our master circadian clock. And then that clock in our brain tells all the other cells, almost every single cell in the body has a circadian clock. And so it's cueing all of these things. And so something as simple as having your child go outside for 10 minutes in the morning cues all of these things. And then the reverse is true as well. If we are exposing our children to artificial light before bed, a few hours before bed, 2 to 3 hours before bed, it can have a dramatic impact on their ability to sleep. One study found that bright light an hour before bed decreased our children's melatonin by 90%. I mean, that is just absolutely staggering. And melatonin is that hormone in the body that's released when it's dark, released when that blue light goes down, and it signals our body to get a deep restorative sleep to help repair. And it's also a master antioxidant. It helps regulate our immune system, all of these different things in the body. So when that is dysregulated or not in balance, then we're setting our children up for so many different things. And so you can see just by understanding our light environment. And here I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so it gets dark here at 5 o'clock or starts to get dark at 4:30. And we're not turning off the lights and spending the rest of the evening in the dark, right? We're moving towards light like this salt lamp behind me that's more orange and red in tone, or incandescent bulbs. We're lowering the lights in intensity, but also in height. So I'm turning off the overhead lights and moving the source of light lower to kind of mimic that setting sun. And what that does is it allows my body to continue all those circadian rhythms. It doesn't block the release of melatonin like a bright LED light would. And so, and there's all kinds of things we can do. Blue light blocking glasses are a wonderful way to, make sure we can snuggle up and watch some TV or have a movie night without this dramatic influence on the biology. There are screensavers that we can turn onto night mode, make more red. And so just exploring light is an incredible influence on our children's focus, on their motivation, on their feeling of well-being, right? That morning light tells the body to release serotonin and oxytocin, those hormones that make us feel calm and content and ready to focus and motivated. It does all of those biological, metabolic cascades in the body so that our body is using energy, it's not storing energy. And right now we're in a childhood epidemic of metabolic disorders, obesity and diabetes. And so just something as simple as fine tuning our children's light environment can be so powerful on their everyday health.
Mm. You touched on so beautifully on one of the subjects that I wanted to speak about, which is the sleep issue. But how can quantum parenting principles be used to address common childhood challenges like sleep or stress or problem with focus?
Yeah, wonderful question, because those are some really big challenges. But like the tagline of this summit, we can turn those challenges into opportunities, and we can really address our child's light environment. For one, we can get them out in the morning sun, and that morning sun, or even if it's on a cloudy day, that morning light releases serotonin, and that serotonin is what is converted into melatonin, that sleep hormone. So if we get a nice big release of that in the morning with the morning light, and then we lower the lights at night, it helps us convert that serotonin into melatonin so our kids can get a deep, restful sleep. And it's really about the quality of sleep, right? It's about having them have really high quality sleep so they're getting that rest, they're getting that repair and rejuvenation that they need. Sometimes they sleep and they wake up and they're not rested and they're not focused and they're not feeling good. And really looking at their melatonin, looking at their light environment can be so powerful, and it doesn't cost anything. Right. One of the things I do is I have my kids take the dog on the walk. It's like morning time, the dog has to go out. You guys do too. And that's like not very long. It's like 10 minutes. and and they can get all of the benefits of that light, and it has such a huge impact on their sleep.
What if you don't have a dog?
Yep, something as easy as going out, getting the newspaper, waiting outside. Sometimes I'll say, "Okay, just go. We're leaving, right? Because we need to go in the morning to school and wherever we are going." And I say, "Go outside and wait. I'll be out there in a minute." Even when we don't have time to be outside, I will roll the windows down a little bit. My kids are now used to it. They crank up the heat in the winter in the car, because we often think of light as like a flashlight. Wherever that light is shining, then that's where the light is. But really, those photons of light are bouncing all around. And if I had a light meter in a room or in a car, and I cracked the window to let natural light in, you would see the spectrum of light really broaden, and you would see the intensity go up. So if I'm in a regularly lit house, a bedroom might have 1 to 200 lux. That's the intensity of light. If I went outside, even on a really cloudy day, it would have thousands of lux. The intensity is just it's so much brighter outside, and the spectrum is so much greater. It has infrared light, it has the visible spectrum of light, it has ultraviolet light. These things are impacting our mitochondria, which help with our metabolism, they help with our mood, they help with our sleep. And so even if we don't have time to have the kids be outside in the morning, we can crack a window and let some of that light in, and that will enter the retina and do all of those things that I was talking about before. It'll help cue our biology, our children's biology, and help it in so many different ways.
Yeah. So is it going to help anyway, like quantum parenting principles can help our neurodivergent kids as well? Like, is there any particular routine which parents need to follow to get that exact energy which is required for them?
Yes, I think that what we've been talking about right now with the light environment, is something that impacts everybody, and especially neurodivergent children. And I understand some of the challenges there, especially with screens at night as a calming mechanism, which is so common. And when you tell a parent of a neurodivergent person, a child, let's take away the screens 2 to 3 hours before bed, they're like, that's not going to work. So we can kind of change the settings on the screens. We can
Mhm.
put them in night mode. We can use blue light blocking glasses. There are many different ways that that light can be changed so it's not blocking the release of melatonin. And what we see with children is it's not that they don't fall asleep. It's they sleep, but they're not getting that REM sleep. They're not getting that deep restorative sleep that they need so much. And that's where that melatonin comes in. And so I think these principles absolutely apply, maybe even more so for our neurodivergent children.
Mm, Thank you so much. And where would parents be able to get a supply of those glasses for,
Great
yeah.
question.
And
Yeah.
are there many different types of glasses that they get to choose?
Yes, there's bunch of different glasses out there. A couple companies, Raw Optics, Viva Rays, they make really high quality blue light blocking glasses. I love Raw Optics because they're very sturdy. If your household is like mine, the glasses are not always treated with the utmost care. So it's nice to have a sturdy frame. But basically, what you're looking for in a blue light blocking glass, um, especially for evening, is you're looking for the red tones. So you'll always see different kinds of lenses for different times in the day. So there are blue light blocking glasses that are yellow in the lens. The color of the lens is yellow, and that's helping to block some of the blue light that we might be in front of during the day. Because blue light during the day can decrease our mitochondrial function. Our mitochondria are what make the energy of the body, and they've been associated with almost every modern disease out there. So we really want them to work well. So people that have to be in front of screens all throughout the day are using these yellow tinted blue light blocking glasses. But for what we're talking about, making sure that melatonin is released at night, we're talking about the deep orange or red colored lenses. And that helps block the blue light and helps block all the spectrum of blue light so that our child is still releasing melatonin. And I mean, there's so many things that are happening cued in the darkness, our immune system, our neurological repair. All of these things are happening when our body senses that the sun has gone down and it's time to do all those things.
Mm, thank you.
So, so amazing tips which you're giving. So based on quantum parenting principles, what are the other routine which parents must include, not only with the neurodivergent kids, but to the neurotypical kids as well? What do you suggest to them?
Yeah, I think really three things are really important to think about when we talk about this quantum parenting, this perspective of quantum biology on parenting. I think that the light environment is really crucial. I think getting our kids outside in nature is really important. It has a completely um, nourishing effect on the nervous system. And that's from everything we're seeing outside, from the colors that we see, from the sounds that we hear, the wind through the trees, the bird song. All of these things have a really nourishing impact on our nervous system. And as parents, we have to come to terms with the stress level of our children these days is really high. And stress isn't always, oh, I feel stressed because this is happening or that is happening. It's coming from toxins in our food. It's coming from toxins in the air and the water. I mean, so many different things, latent infections, so many different things the body sees as a stressor, right? And it impacts the nervous system. And our children these days are highly stressed for a variety of reasons. And so making sure that our children have time outside in nature and speaking to the parents in an urban setting, that doesn't mean that you have to go, on a holiday or go outside of the city. A city park is perfect. It still has birds, it still has trees, it still has grass, it still has all of these things. The air in those settings is rich with negative ions, and that helps our children's immune system. It helps their mood. It helps their neurological function and focus and mood. So I think that the light environment is really important, trying to incorporate some nature in our children's lives is really important. And then I think that as parents, we have to understand that we are really these anchors for our children. We can really create this safe harbor for our children to come back into. So, this idea of co regulation is really important. And I often speak about heart coherence. And this, again, Heart Math Institute has done incredible research showing that if we take some deep breaths, if we focus on something that makes us feel calm, makes us feel grateful, gives us a sense of joy or awe, we completely change our biology. That entrains our brain, it entrains so many different things in our biology, and that can be felt by other people. And we're talking about parenting right now, right? So we're talking about how our state of our nervous system as a parent impacts our child. And so when we're in that state of calm, it relays that and entrains our child's nervous system to also come into a state of calm. And when they are coming to us in a state of breakdown, if they're in a tantrum or they had a really hard day at school and they're relaying some of these things to us, if we can maintain that calm, it reflects that to them. It lets them know, like, okay, this is happening, but it isn't the end of the world. My mom isn't having that same effect. I can be calm and still have these things happen to us. So it creates a sense of resilience. And whenever I talk about heart coherence, I think that the idea that we should always be happy parents and grateful parents and calm parents is a little unrealistic, right? We're humans, we're all humans. And so, and our kids pick up on that. So when I'm having a hard day, when I'm experiencing anger, frustration, or overwhelm, or grief, or whatever it may be, my kids sense that. And if my, especially my youngest, she's so in tune, she's like, "What's wrong, Mom? What's wrong?" And if I say to her, "Oh, nothing," and pretend like nothing's there, it does a couple things. It kind of degrades the trust that we have because she's saying, she knows that something's wrong, and I'm not entering into that trust relationship with her by saying nothing, so instead I say, "I'm having a hard time, so I'm taking a little break," and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's how you do it, right?" And not only does it degrade that trust that we have between us, that child parent relationship, but it also degrades her internal sense of what's happening. Like, oh, maybe I'm not right. I guess she's okay. And it's important that we validate what our children are feeling, and we build them up, and that confidence of, yes, the way you experience the world is important. So I think that being genuine too, right? We don't always have to be this grateful, calm beacon. When we, as much as we can, it's wonderful for our children and for our own nervous system. But in those times when we're not, just being real with it and taking a break models to our children that trust and that safety of, like, we all have these hard times and we navigate them like this. We take a break, we try to regulate. And I think that what they've seen in the research, and it just makes common sense, is that if this is modeled for a child, they are much more resilient, not even as a child, but as a teen, as a young adult, and as an adult, resilient in their nervous system and just have better health outcomes overall. So those are the three things that I really think that, I mean, there's so many different things, but if I had to pick the three most important things that quantum biology offers, a perspective that it offers parents, it's looking at that light environment that we often ignore, making sure that we provide some time out in nature, and then looking at this beautiful relationship of heart coherence and co-regulation that we have with our children.
Yeah, I just one more question. Uh, I want to ask you, as you're talking about light, tell us the importance of night light. Should our children switch on their night light while they're sleeping, or should they sleep in complete dark? what will help them get into that REM sleep, which is regulating our circadian rhythm and putting us into better focus. Can you tell us more about it?
Absolutely. That's a great question because a lot of our children really rely on those light nights as a sense of safety, right? And so we can switch them. They don't have to be these bright LED lights. LED lights have a really narrow band of blue light. And that blue light, like we talked about, enters our eyes, tells our brain, and thus all of the cells in our body that it's noon and it's not time to sleep. And it literally blocks the release of melatonin from the pineal gland. We can switch that out for an orange bulb. We can use something like this as a nightlight, right? And there are absolutely so many nightlights out there that, and the companies are cognizant of this, so they're making no blue light night lights, right? That's kind of a mouthful, but it's these night lights that don't have blue light, so that if your child is finding calm and a sense of safety in having a nightlight, you can have a nightlight that is lower in light, and it is having no blue light so that it isn't blocking those things. I mean, if we look at the research and if we wanted to get really technical, which I'm not sure we do, but we want it to be less than 1 lux in the room. And there are apps on the phone where you can measure that. But basically, what it means is that it's pretty dark, and having a nightlight that doesn't shine blue light gets us there. So we don't have to have meters. We don't have to measure this. We just can provide a light that is more orange tone or red in nature, and it's not super, super bright. And there's lots of companies out there that are providing this because they are starting to recognize how powerful this is on our children's biology.
Thank
Well,
you
thank
so
you for
much.
thank
Yeah,
you for sharing
so
so much
yeah,
information.
it's amazing. Can you, as we are coming to the end of this amazing interview, can you share with us your amazing gift for our audience?
Absolutely. I have a free quantum biology guide that kind of walks us through these simple steps that we can take. Simple, but maybe we haven't always thought of, right? And so this free guide kind of just opens up an understanding for parents on how to approach parenting from a different perspective. So I'm really excited to be able to offer that free gift to everybody.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your generosity and your time. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us, and I'm sure viewers have got a lot of ideas, tips. This the simple thing light can change so much energy, so much behavioral changes and development in our children. So thank you, Catherine, for being here with us. It's so wonderful to have you.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for doing this. Our parents really need support these days, so it's such a wonderful thing that you both are doing, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you
Bye bye
so
for
much.
now.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
bye for
Thank
now.
you.